This is PotterStocks, and I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown on what I got going on this week, what we're going to be doing in the Discord, and of course, the week ahead of us. So, first off, economic calendar. Monday, nothing. Good. Reprieve. That means that we don't have any data coming in. We'll get to see how the market is feeling stepping out of the gate. So, if we're going down, we're probably going to see that continuation, or if there's a bounce and people are feeling bullish, I think we'll hold what we got. Next, going into Tuesday, we will get data at 10 a.m. This is CB Consumer Confidence and JOLTS. This is going to be important, but I don't think we'll tie fully together until we get Wednesday's data. So I don't, and again, a lot of the setups are speaking to, they're not fully set up. So this is one of those things that is bleeding into the charts. I am seeing this data between Tuesday and Wednesday potentially stopping us. And then after this data hits, we also have the most important part of the week, which is a part of the reason why we might end up chopping on Tuesday, maybe even on Monday, is our FOMC statement. If you've never done it before, maybe just watch or size down. But this is going to be an important start to the week, which means that Monday, watching. Tuesday, only absolute, verifiably solid setups. Wednesday, double down on that even more. Going into Thursday, right, we've got a kind of finishing with the jobs. We got unemployment claims, ISM, manufacturing, PMI, and then we'll finish the week with average hour earnings, non-farm employment rate, unemployment rate, and revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Again, this is going to be a big data week, and it's not over, I don't believe, until, the following beginning of February, where we'll finally get the last bit of those unemployment claims. It will slow down, but that brings me to the next part of this is we also have earnings, starting off with some of the stronger names, such as on Tuesday, we got UPS, Pfizer, Starbucks, we've got AMD, Boston Properties. That's about it as far as those big names, but then we're kind of picking up speed a little bit as we move into the rest of the week. ADP, flat, AFLAC, Thursday, we're going to have Apple, right? But it doesn't really go, we don't really get into it until this following week so this week, we're not going to have a ton of earnings. We will have some bigger earnings, but it's going to be the next following week where you're going to have chock full earnings every single day. So this is something that I'm going to be paying attention to. Some of the stocks I'm going to be watching going into earnings this week: Starbucks, UPS, some of the big ones. Obviously, AMD is one that's on a lot of people's watch list. It might be one of those things that you could buy the options and then sell them. But of course, going into, not to mention, this is going to be a high IV week. So you might, again, be able to get away with just selling shit before it even happens. But AMD is one of the highlights there. Starbucks is also one of the highlights with the boycotts going on. So this is stocks, some of the stocks that I'm going to be paying attention to this week. I think another interesting one will be QCOM on Wednesday. This is one that we know can move pretty well. And then following with that, I do think that BA, because a lot of this is just news, this is again one of the things that could be a big ripper and market mover. All right, now moving forward into my watch list. Now I just got off live with everybody. In fact, they're still watching, but I am going to be watching this week. And Tesla is always on the watch list. Doesn't mean that I'm actually going to be taking anything, but this is one of the ones that is moving down into one of our cost basis areas. Now it is on the weekly. I'll give it some grace, being that it is closing on the range rather than like completely in it. But this is one that I am looking at the 24-hour time frame, and I know that it is basically above this 190 mark. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the most recent price action, and I'm looking at what held us down previously. And if you go and look, you'll notice that it is the 190 mark. So I expect for Tesla to test 190. And if Tesla is able rather to go and grab that floor, I think it's an easy 195. Now, to the downside, because that is absolutely a possibility right now, if we end up legging down, the next price target is 174.91. That's going to be my next price target. A lot of empty space up there, but we know that Tesla can create lots more empty space, if not even just going sideways. This is what it looks like when it doesn't want to go up. So we're going to be paying attention to that price action on those bounces. We do have Chinese stocks in focus this week. BABA, which does have a potential punchback, 1, 2, 3 here on the bottom of this channel. Floor to go and reclaim at $79 and $81, and these are my two price targets this week. We're looking at $81 as a price target, and we're also looking at $79.67 on the break of the 75.70s 75.70 and 76.40. So you can see the little channel down here. We're looking to punch over this little box, and I'm looking at Baba and Baidu. This is also a Chinese name that looks a little bit more straightforward structurally, does have this bottom channel here, and we could be looking at a nice punchback. This is going to be probably a multi-tiered punchback, but we're looking for a floor of 115, cost basis of 117, and basically a move out to go retest the 124. So moving forward, I like this one to go and retest that punchback and perhaps give us a even bigger move, looking at the 145s. This is one that's going to take a couple weeks, obviously not today. Now, pulling from the watch list that we've kind of gathered on live, I am looking at Cliff. I'm going to kind of brush over these really quickly. Cliff, the bottom of a potential channel here. We're looking at a break above 1875, break of 1928, potential run up into the imbalance and $20 mark. That's if it goes up. We'll wait for that trigger patiently. Not a huge play, but definitely one we could throw some down. AFRM. This one is absolutely right. 1, 2, 1, 2. There is tension being created for sure, right? And we could even go so far as to go ahead and box this up in a way, remove these red lines. But we could box this up and look at it like this. So above that $43 mark, expect resistance. And if we do not hold our floor, it is an obvious 37.25. That is a weekly level and daily level, and that is where I'm looking to go and retest on AFRM. Another interesting one was Dollar General, another bottom of the channel trade, but also an observation of consolidation. Nice choppiness right there, and an expansion. Choppiness, expansion. Choppiness, expansion. Choppiness. We haven't done anything yet. So I'm looking at this one as a potentially big play going into this week with an opening. We didn't open above 135. Above 135, I think this is worth the entry. And then obviously, if this one doesn't hold, stop loss being 137.35 if we make it there. Now, Roku was also another interesting one on the watch list. Another bottom of the channel one. This one could just be a down. This is actually one that's not necessarily on the watch list right now. It's more or less one of those ones that I could see dipping back down and curling back up. Now, there is only one pattern on this earth that I will ever pay attention to because of statistics, and that is the inverse head and shoulders. And if this is true, we have a shoulder, right? And I can still use my strategy, still use my boxes because that comes first. But at this moment, right, we have a retest potentially down there and a curl back up, lots of empty space up there. So I still like this, trade. I still like Roku. Now, BA, right, going into earnings, I just talked about this one. It isn't necessarily fundamental news, and it could be earnings that actually gets us going. But listen, folks, this one is still in a channel, still in an uptrend, doesn't actually have, we don't know for sure that Boeing is fucked. And every time this happens, it goes and props itself right back up. So an entry above 213, we're looking for a retest of 225 and a potential gap fill to 244. All right, couple ones. Last one, well, not last one. We've got Hershey's company. This one might not be today, or excuse me, tomorrow, but 1, 2, 1, super heavy consolidation right here. So I am looking at Hershey's to potentially curl back up, pop, and we could see a $200 pop from Hershey's. Now this could keep us in range, but it did lose its floor, which was right here at 185, and has regained it and is putting effort into going and breaking that cost basis. So this could be a big play and a shot all the way to 208. So, yep. So that's it for the watch list. Obviously, EA, we just discussed this earlier. This one is a weekly and potential long. This has earnings this week. I'm still watching this one to go and break. So other than that, y'all, this is going to be kind of an easygoing week. Definitely putting some money in low risk, high reward situations. Looking for Potter boxes, period, end of story. Otherwise, it might be a wait and watch type of week with quicker trades in between. So otherwise, y'all have a great night. I'll catch you guys in the next video.